app. Former Celtic Antoine Walker, who has betrayed the green by going with the Bucks in 6 or 7, according to him. They're also with us. Battle of Club Superstar, 2 superstars. One minted, one just got in. That's Jason Tatum. The question is this, Antoine. Who's under more pressure to get their team a win tonight, Giannis or Jason Tatum?
I think it's Jason Tatum. I talked about this before the last game, and Tatum responded with a 30-point game that he has to be, and we tease about, and we talk about the club superstar and him becoming a superstar, and he showed us that he could get it done, especially on the road with that 30-point performance, which was very impressive. So I think he has to follow that up with a great game tonight. They cannot afford for him not to be aggressive, not stay in attack mode, and not have a big game. I don't think you want to bank on Al Horford having another 30-point performance. And Al's been great throughout the playoffs, but that's a lot of pressure on a guy who's 35 years old to be able to try to deliver that. And you're asking to guard the best player in the league. So I think it's on Jason Tatum to produce, to stay aggressive throughout the game, not to get in foul trouble, and to play a great game if they want to win a Game 5. This is that next step of putting yourself in that elite category, and we can see if he can do it.
Wow, Twine, I think it's definitely more pressure on Giannis. Giannis is the best player in the world. And a lot of people think, like Nick clearly thinks, best player in the world, you got to win the series, all right? And then there's some talking about in the media, some out there, that the Celtics have found the kryptonite for Giannis. He is only shooting 43%.
It's just you.
43%.
It's just you.
Hey, the numbers are the numbers. He's shooting 43% in this series. That's all our brother is saying, all right? And so, to me, he's the defending champion. I think the pressure is clearly on Giannis. His wingman, Chris Middleton, is not there. So you don't have that pressure release, if you will, that he's always been able to count on. So it's all on Giannis's shoulders. He's shooting 10%, Nick, from three-point land. Now, as far as Jason Tatum, he's 24 years old. We'll forgive him. He's so young. He's got a rookie coach. Yep. I get the notion, and I think this is where Twine's going, I get the notion that, look, if Boston loses tonight, they're really in trouble, which is true. You're going back to Milwaukee, down 3-2. They could close you out right there. But if Boston wins tonight, if Giannis doesn't get it done, I think, Nick, the idea that now the series rhythm has been broken and finally a team has won 2 straight. Boston having won 2 straight, I think would give them all the momentum even as they go back to Milwaukee. So I think Giannis has to get it done tonight.
All right. I'm going to say something that I have not said a single time about Bucks Celtics the whole time we've been discussing it. Chris Broussard is absolutely right. There's more pressure on Giannis. There's more pressure on Giannis. There has to be more pressure on Giannis. I don't think the best player in the world has to win every series. But I do think the best player in the world is the biggest single advantage you can have within a series. And unless you are playing a historic all-time great team, usually best player in the world is going to come out on top. Also, I think Boston has shown they can win a game where Tatum is not great throughout. They won Game 2. Tatum was only great in the second half. They won Game 4. Tatum was really only great the last quarter and a half. Milwaukee has no chance of winning without Giannis being exceptional because Middleton is out. I also think, Wilds, I'm not acting like Tatum is satisfied. No, but let's just say the Celtics lose tonight and they lose Game 6 in Milwaukee and Tatum plays fine. He has 25 points, average in a couple games, more than 2 assists, because I know if you only have 2 assists, Wilds will eviscerate you. But he plays fine. I think people will be like, yeah, Jason Tatum did what he was supposed to do this postseason. Maybe more than that. Outplayed Kevin Durant, made Giannis work for it. He is in club superstar. He is not in discussion of, is Jason Tatum the best player in basketball? Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo are. Giannis is, and some people erroneously said Durant was. And so I feel like the pressure is squarely on Giannis's shoulders because he has to. He had 36 and 18 in game 4. And what was the commentary? It wasn't enough. Brew was talking about mythical green stones appearing. And so, yeah, I think Giannis knows he's got to go out and be exceptional, and I think he will be.
So I think Giannis will be exceptional as well. I still think Celtics are going to win. Antoine, real quick for you. Giannis had that big dunk, kind of talked a little bit of trash and fired up Al Horford. So he's been kind of, I would say, more demonstrative than normally. He had the Antoine shimmy that you thought was too much, even though it was off a pass. Do you think Giannis changes his celebrations necessarily after that celebration seemed to have fired up Al Horford? Do you think he needs to change anything in the way that he's celebrating during the game?
No, I'm not on the court, and I don't hear the trash talking, but it seemed like it's a lot of talking going on between the two teams, and I have no problem with that. But I got to talk about Nick and Chris, you guys are crazy to think that Giannis has more pressure on him. First of all, he's playing without without an all-star. Jrue Holiday is not a real scoring point guard. He's more of a two-way guy. So you're asking, obviously his field goal percentage is down because Giannis now has to shoot the ball 30, 35 times. That's not Giannis. Giannis is an efficient offensive player that may take 15 to 17 shots a game. He don't need 30 shots to get 40 points. You guys got to understand that. So he's changing his game as this series goes along and trying to figure out where he needs to be at. And that's the great thing about it. That's why it's no pressure on him. It's pressure for the others to step up and give him support. The Wesley Matthews, the Grayson Allens, those guys cannot be coming up with goose eggs. He needs those guys to perform to have an opportunity. The shooting percentage is down because he's taking a different role than he had to do his whole career. You're asking him to shoot the ball 35 times. That don't mean it's pressure, because if they lose, it won't be because of him. If the Boston Celtics lose, it will be because of Jason Tatum. It will be.
So
we know
I think, Brew, I think we actually agree, and we're just looking at the definition of the word pressure differently. For all the reasons, Brew, Antoine said Giannis isn't under pressure, I think you and I are saying that's why he is. Because Middleton's not there, because Jrue Holiday is not a great scoring threat. So I don't think we're actually even really disagreeing here. I think we're just looking at it through different lenses, Brew, because I think our analysis is very similar, which is the Bucks have one way to win, which is Giannis being great, which is why you and I feel like he is under pressure. Antoine's point, I think, is, okay, but we will understand if they lose because of the situation he's in.
But look, Twan, you bring up a great point, but I think Nick's right. That's why I think there's more pressure on Giannis, because he's not a volume shooter, right? He has to be in this series. His shot attempts are going up like every game. And that really isn't Giannis, but they need it to be Giannis. And so he's in a different role. I don't think people are going to look at it like, man, poor Giannis, he gave it his all. I think they're going to look at it like, wow, he didn't get it done. And these Celtics now have emerged as the best team in the East. The second thing is this, Twan, really quickly. Al Horford, as we showed the highlight, I think he kind of, in a sense, called Giannis out. He, in a sense, called him out. Giannis stared him down after dunking on him, and Horford just was like, okay, and then outplayed him. Held him to 6 points, with help from his teammates in the fourth quarter, and then scored, 12 or 16 himself, whatever it was. And so I think you're the best player in the world. Another player on the other team called you out and then outplayed you. We want to see an answer in Game 5. So, yeah, the pressure's on Giannis. I'm putting it here.
Celtics win by 4.